So, good afternoon. My name is Edward Sanshin Oberholtzer. I'm the resident priest of the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha here in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. We're an affiliate of Empty Moon Zen. The weather here in central Pennsylvania turned this past week. Throughout the summer, I'd stepped out on the back patio after letting the cat out, and I would marvel at how hot and dry it was, the grass crunchy under my feet. This weekend, I opened the back door, stepped outside, and felt the coolness of autumn coming on. That air always meant to me the beginning of a new school year, either college or graduate school, my kids' school and college, my wife's teaching a new group of graduate students. An air of hope and expectation, a new beginning. This year, though, I know it brings anxiety for parents, an anxiety I can only feel vicariously now that my kids are long since grown. The pandemic overshadows the coming of autumn. Do people send their children to school? Do they keep them at home in front of a computer screen? What do they do? And the short answer is that any choice you make, any choice I might make, were I in your position, any choice is wrong. In this life, we are often given a choice between two bad options. Should I send my son, my daughter to a crowded, poorly ventilated classroom to be exposed to every other child? Or do I keep him or her at home and lose that interaction which is so vital for children at this age? Do we leave an increasingly frail and incompetent parent in their own home with all the burden that places on family in terms of time and finances, when that's clearly what the parent wants? Or do we seek out a long-term care facility knowing that the disruption and pain that will bring in the short term, as well as the peace that will bring in the long term? So many bad choices. Yes, every choice is wrong, and every choice is right. Look around you. Our lives are filled with such no-win situations, but even so, I'm not here to dwell on the hopeless. As Rumi said, ours is no caravan of despair. Buddhism seeks to deal with the pain of life, the suffering. And so, here's a story from the Gateless Gate that might say something to the conundrums we face. It's case 26. Fayan's two monks roll up the blinds. The great Fayan of King Liang took the high seat before the midday meal to preach to his assembly. Raising his hand, he pointed to the bamboo blinds. Two monks went and rolled them up in the same manner. Fayan said, "One gains, one loses." How can this be? You step out into life, you send your kid to a school classroom or not. You gain, you lose. You find your mother a memory care unit and take her from her home or not. You gain, you lose. And what are these words? Gain and loss, form and emptiness, life and death. Words, empty and full. Sakito Kisan wrote the poem The Sandokai, The Harmony of Difference and Equality, which tells us that in the light there is darkness, but don't take it as darkness. And in the dark there is light, but don't see it as light. There's a consonance, a harmony in the choices we are asked to make, in the gain, in the loss. You step out, you roll up the bamboo shades, you decide your child's school year, your mother's residence, you gain, you lose. You have to make a decision, gain or loss, right or wrong. Sometimes that gain will be joyful. Sometimes that loss will be full of pain and sorrow. But it will be a choice, gain, loss, right, wrong. In the end, as Dame Julian of Norwich tells us, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Light and dark, form and emptiness, gain and loss oppose one another like the front and back foot in walking. Hold them lightly. The sky outside today is blue. The clouds a bright, almost blinding, bright white. The air crisp. And as Woman commented in his verse on this particular case, when they are rolled up, the great sky is bright and clear, but the great sky still does not match our way. Why don't you throw away that sky completely? Then not a breath of wind will come through. No, our way contains both the great sky and the bits and pieces of a life lived in the midst of pandemic and political turmoil, the detritus of our stumbling through day to day. And in the end, we have the words of that great Irish poet, Yeats, who wrote of the grave that he saw for himself. Under bare Ben Bulben's head in Drumcliff churchyard, Yeats is laid. An ancestor was rector here. Long years ago, a church stands near. By the road an ancient cross, no marble, no conventional phrase, on limestone quarried near the spot. By his command, these words are cut. Cast a cold eye on life, on death. Horsemen pass by. Thank you.